going on, people? What's going on? Welcome to In Love with Kimberly Michael on SavageCom.Entertainment with the amazing producer Jim Savage and me. I'm her, she's me. Not Jim Savage, I'm Kimberly. In Love with Kimberly Michael. Anyway, um, seriously interesting show tonight. First of all, let me get off the big screen because I can't see chat or anything else. And when Jay starts hollering at me in the private chat, I can't see it. So get off there. I know we're just getting started, but for those of you who are listening at later, please subscribe immediately and like the show immediately and share the shit out of the show immediately. As soon as you hear this throughout the show, do that. Hit that like button. Super important, right? Super important. Oh, that's what I was doing. So I'm going to, for those of you who know me, when I do share the show, it's a whole thing. It takes me time and mad effort. I can multitask all day long. When it comes to this, I can't. So I don't know if y'all saw the title, but I am going off of a show that Jay had. Jay, which show was it? Put it in private chat. Tell me what show it was, because you'll remember better than I, because he has so many amazing shows. And he might not even know which one it was. But the conversation, I don't know if it started that way, but it ended up about poly relationships, basically. I think. I mean, that's where the conversation was. That's what I want to kind of have a conversation with. And there was 4 guys, and I feel like one was in a poly or working on being in a poly, and Jay, who's you're pro poly, I can say that, right? It's not a secret. The Crown. That was the name of the show, The Crown. So, and there was 2 other gentlemen who were in monogamous relationships and married, which is totally fine. People can do whatever they so choose to do. Everybody knows how I feel about that. I think we should all live our most authentic life and not judge anybody for whatever decisions that they're making, and allow people who don't agree, that you don't agree with, to do what they're doing. Like, it's none of our business. As long as you're not causing or projecting hate or harm onto anyone, who cares what the next person's doing? Who cares if your neighbor Sally's getting boned by 22 men in the middle of the night that you don't know about? Who cares? Who gives a shit? I don't care. You don't care if some old lady ain't getting boned. So why do you care if somebody is getting boned, and how many times they're getting boned and how many times they do it and all that? So anyway, it was just a very interesting conversation. And I so desperately wanted to get in on the conversation. Maybe Jay, I'll give him something to do. He can pull some of the little clips from the show or something that had the most, like, so the men that were in the monogamous relationships were saying what was wrong with poly relationships. And it was blatantly obvious that neither one of the two really understood what a poly relationship was about, or what was, and I'm not saying that it can be defined, okay? Because even within the poly world, you still defined your own relationship, if that makes sense. Now, for the record, so that no one comes for me, I have never been in a full poly relationship. I have been in a relationship with a man. Let me take that back. I have been in, it wasn't a relationship, but we were seeing each other. I guess we were dating. We were in a non-monogamous relationship with the intention of me finding another man. He wanting to be the number 1 man and in the decision making for number 2 and possibly 3 men. I was also talking to, I should say first, because I went first usually. I also had conversations and what was actually seeking out other men who wanted to be in polyandry relationship, which is a woman having multiple husbands. So for me specifically, I wanted to be in a closed polyandry monogamous relationship, which sounds contradictory, but if you really know the true meaning of what a poly relationship, you also know that you can again dictate what that looks like. So I would have preferred for me, only me, to be in a relationship with 2 or 3 men and us be exclusive with each other. Them not having other partners and me not having other partners. Not that I would need other partners, but and that was my preference, and it was this person's preference, and the men that I came in contact with during the dating process and all of that, that was their, it was very clear what we were looking for and how we were looking for it and what that looked like. And so we were all in agreement of the same thing, right? That we all wanted to be in this type of relationship. So I did extensive research because prior to this, I had only been seeking, I guess, monogamous relationships. But until I found a monogamous relationship, I was in non-monogamous relationships. So I'm not even going to pull up the definitions because I feel like it's silly. The majority of us know what a poly relationship is. We know what a monogamous relationship is, non-monogamous. There's also swingers, which are a totally different category. And then apparently they call lifestyle groups or couples or whatever be the case. Now, I'm not going to speak totally on that, but I threw it in there because it is part of this whole array of relationships that we're talking about today. So, okay, I'm telling you guys right now, just let me share at least the show right now. Let me just real quick share this real quick. Okay, please. Thank you. And y'all can share it while I'm sharing too. I hope this is it. I hope I'm not pressing the wrong button. Okay. So, the men that were on the show, and listen, I'm not dissing them. I'm not giving them I'm not disrespecting them in any way, shape, or form. But every single time it came back around, it either came back around to a biblical issue or it came around to sexual stuff. And the one guy kept saying, I don't know, Jay, if you remember, he kept saying over and over again, oh, I got to wait my turn and I got to do this. Most legit, I mean, if poly relationships are not even, I'm not saying sex is not important because especially for me, sex is crucial. Okay. But that is not what the basis of the relationship is. The majority of healthy, healed, whole people that are in a true poly relationship have their own individual reasons, of course, but they also have a tribal mentality about their intentions in this relationship. A lot of them, especially in the Black community, from the men that I spoke to and the women that I spoke to that were in poly relationships, it was about the family unit, the lack, I'm just being honest, the lack of Black men in the community, being able to populate at a higher rate, more children, being able to have more children. Not that men don't have a bunch of babies now, but I'm just saying there's a financial intention in poly relationships. There's also a growth and a healing and a spiritual side to a poly relationship. It is not about fucking. I don't know how we got from what poly really is or it represents for people that are actually in these, again, healing poly relationships or healed poly relationships. And I'm talking about healed individuals being in a poly relationship who know what their intentions are and they have an open dialogue with everyone involved in that poly relationship, And listen, I've seen, I saw this. So there's this one picture that goes around about this one particular woman that's in a polyandry relationship. and I'm going to try to remember all the logistics of it, okay? She is married to 3 men and she has a boyfriend. I think she is exclusive. The husband is exclusive with her. I think she has 2 husbands and a boyfriend. Did I say that? I think she has 2 husbands and a boyfriend. The boyfriend has a girlfriend. One of the other husbands has another wife, and then the other husband has I think her and him are exclusive. I think he's exclusive to her. Now, I could be fucking it all up, but there's at least 3 or 4 men involved, but there's also 3 or 4 other women involved. Now, listen, I'm not saying that's not a poly relationship. But it's an open poly relationship. So again, it is a poly relationship. Poly to me, so that I can be clear when I say this, I should have said this a while ago. Poly to me is people who are in a committed relationship for the end result for them to be in a committed relationship. They're not, period. We're talking about a relationship where you are with each other. You're either living in a compound or you all live together, whether you share the same bed or whether you don't. Because my understanding is some of them share beds, some of them don't. Some men don't want to be with other men. That's fine. Some women don't want to be with other women. So there's all gamuts inside of the poly. But at the end of the day, being poly means that you are in relationship with someone. Poly is not you out fucking everybody and their damn grandmama talking about I'm poly because you want 2 or 3 women and you want to fuck them. That's just whoring around. Now, then we move to non-monogamy. Obviously, that's we're in non-monogamous relationships. I maintain non-monogamous relationships currently, and I have been for the last 3 years. It's the only type of relationship that I will maintain. It currently is, again, non-monogamous relationship. That means, people, that let me take a drink because I'm already feeling like I want to jump. That means that I am I have an open conversation with the men that I get involved with and let them know that I am not in a relationship with them and that we are monogamous. I go into the relationship or into the dating capacity, whatever capacity we are seeing each other, and let them know up front, day one, unless you are my person, this relationship is non-monogamous. Not only is this relationship non-monogamous, neither one of us will assume that the relationship is anything other than that unless there's an open discussion and we are both in agreement with it. You ain't going to pop up one day and say, I don't want you fucking nobody else, and that's just the way it's going to be. That's not how it works either. You know what I mean? I don't think we need to have a monogamous conversation. That means you are in a committed relationship with one fucking person and you ain't fucking nobody else for whatever reason. You're mad, you're upset, you ain't this, that, the other, whatever. If you contractually agree to a monogamous relationship, then you need to maintain that. That goes to your character if you're not, period. It doesn't go to anything else. It literally goes to your character. So swingers are specifically, and this is actually per definition, couples who like to swap with other couples or like to include someone else in their sexual activity. That swingers is a sexual thing. Let me just be real. That's a purely sexual thing. These are couples who like to swap husbands and wives when they're fucking. They get together, they have parties, they swap couples, whether they're all in the same room or whether they're not. Then there's this lifestyle thing that's called. Let me look it up and see if it says anything. Okay, guys, let's look it up. I'm just curious. One of my investors got me. I think I had it last time, but I could be wrong. A bottle of Tennessee whiskey, maybe. I forget. I think it's called Tennessee whiskey. Anyway, I drink bourbon, and I know it's not a huge difference, but for me it is. And so I'm not used to whiskey. To me, it just has a different hit. It hits differently. So, but let's look up, please. Let's look up lifestyle. I don't even know what it would be called. Sexual groups, maybe. Maybe not. See, so actually, swingers pull up, but let's just see what this actually says. I'm just curious. There's lifestyles. So I guess any of these I guess lifestyle means any of these, and of course they have lists, they have like BDSM. I'm not even going there. I don't know shit about it. It looks painful. I'm not into it. However, I did meet a guy that was totally into it. He was new into it, and he explained it in a very unique way to me, and I got it at the time that he explained it, and it made sense to me, but I still, I don't know that I'm into it at all. And then so apparently nudism and naturism is a lifestyle. That seems kind of odd to me, but okay, I guess it makes sense. So that's all. They don't even go into depth. They don't even talk about anything other than poly and BDSM and nudists. So no luck there. But lifestyle, I guess, means any of the above. I feel like the problem is that the people who aren't in poly relationships or know anything about poly relationships just assume that they're asexual, and they speak on it based on the sexuality of it all. And it's so much more than that. It's not just about sex. I don't even know if, honestly, if most poly relationships are about sex. Now, I will say that I came to the determination that I needed at the time when I opened myself up to the idea of poly. It was always an option once I looked into it. I did not, it wasn't an end goal, it was just an option for me. Part of that had to do, and I'm just being honest, with my insatiable appetite. I mean, it is, I'm just being another honesty going on. It has really only been recently that I've been around somebody who has the same appetite as me, that can, keep up with me, I guess is a good way to put it. I thought that once I had that in my life, that my appetite might change because I'd never had anybody that kept up to me. So I thought part of my insatiable appetite was craving it. Does that make sense? I have that type of appetite as well. See? So I thought that mine had a lot to do with the craving. Hi, Silky, by the way. I thought that mine had a lot to do with the craving part. Like I had that appetite because it wasn't being fulfilled, and I was always craving, more. That was my thought behind it. And but now that I'm in this place where I'm at currently, I definitely, I still have the appetite. It has not decreased at all. And it's definitely what I thought it was. It had nothing to do with me lacking. It's still the same appetite that I've always had. I considered 3 husbands. I always said I needed a gentleman, a businessman, and a revolutionary. and one of those reasons being sexual, and all the rest of the reasons being not sexual. So there's that. But come to find out, that's not necessarily, you know what I mean? Not necessarily the case. So I'm sharing the show, by the way, guys. You know it's hard for me to talk and share. So there's that. But anyway, so the other night when Jay was on the show, I was literally going ballistic in the hi, what's up, K Boogie? Hey boo. I was literally going ballistic in the text message, in the chat. I was losing my, every time one of them would say something, I would go crazy. Like, that has nothing to do with it. Like, has nothing to do with it. There were so many things that I wanted to say, and I just couldn't get it across. I was doing several things and working and doing everything else, but the biggest problem for me at that particular point in the thing was just their reference to the way they were referencing poly and what that looked like and what it sounded like to them. And you could tell that it was crazy to me that they had that idea about it, and that it was so skewed. Like, I really just was at a loss, to be honest with you, that they were coming across so hard. And the other thing is, and listen, I'm not knocking anybody's shit. If that's what you want to believe in, you believe in it. That's fine and good, because everybody can't be poly, everybody can't be monogamous, everybody can't be all the things that everybody wants us to be. Again, the 100% rule applies. Never going to happen. There's never going to be 100% of the people doing 100% of the same shit ever, having 100% of the same thought. So again, do you, and whatever. But the fact that they're bringing up the biblical side of it, I mean, have y'all read the whole Bible? Has anybody read the whole Bible? I mean, there's plenty of references to poly. I'm not saying that they say the word poly, but there's plenty of references to multiple wives and things like that. I mean, it's definitely one-sided, but it was also orchestrated and written and over and was the overseers were all men. So a lot of that had to do, there was so much involvement in the writings and the translation and all that. And did y'all know that the people who translated the scribes, that the scribes were not their first language? Well, of course not, because of course not. It was thousands of years later. I don't even know if anybody at the time had that language, but it wasn't their first language. It was their second language, right? Everybody hit the like button if you are watching the show real quick. Subscribe, like, share the shit out of the show, please. Even if you're on here and you're on here a million times, I need you to hit the freaking like button every time you come on, because it would be great, and we would appreciate it by all means. So anyway, so let's get back to this. So the biblical part, I don't even want to go there, because at the end of the day, I personally felt that they were just picking and choosing certain verses that had, that had to do with, a man and a woman. And I get that, because that's, how religion works. And I understand, but the reality is that the Bible is not riddled with husband and wife. It's also riddled with poly as well too. There was a multitude of things in the Bible that had to do with that. And, so let's talk about, so I have a friend who initially hit me up, a woman. Actually, she was my bartender for a while, and we stayed acquainted, and she considers herself a swinger. So that's how she initially approached me. Like, hey, I'm going to this swinger party this weekend. You really should go. I was like, I'm really not going. Like, I'm not into it. She's like, you don't have to do anything. She's like, it's still a good time. There's food and pot and pills and whatever. I'm not a pill head, and I don't do pills, but I'm just saying there's pills and pot and food and everything else under the sun, I guess, too, mushrooms and who knows what else was there, but I didn't go. Liquor. And the lady who was doing it actually was, yes, Jim has a video. Great. Perfect. You want to do it right now? Hey, Martin. Are you going to do thanks for showing up, guys. Everybody hit like and share. Okay. This is it right here. Jay's got the video. So watch the video. This is what I'm talking about. Watch this video.
I'm not going to tolerate, and he's a pastor too, my mentor. He's one of the realest guys I know. I'm not going to tolerate a woman that don't want to be. She don't want to be like, it's okay. It's just like you said. We in a different society of what our fathers, let alone our grandfathers, was in. So I don't have time for all that chaos and disorder. So with my polygamy, I told you guys, me and my fiance, we are in that type of world. But the thing is, I'm not letting just anybody in my life. So you're absolutely right, Mr. Church. The world, and you as well, Savage. The world, these women and men, they don't know how to. They don't know what order is, especially in our community. A lot of us don't know what order is. So I'm not just looking for the sex. K Boogie said sometimes sexual might be the only good part. It's like everything else is way too much. No, when you live in a chaotic type of polygamy, sexual, being, I want to have sex with you Monday, Tuesday. it's not about that. It's about, okay, how can we benefit from each other? That's what my situation is. And it's a lot of women that I'll be saying, well, this is my situation, and my people, she know, but we're not letting just anybody in our domain.
You're on the proper vetting process for the other.
Yeah, it's a super vetting process,
right? Because this is the thing.
It's like a year or two.
So
yeah.
let me say this, right? Like, even being in a polygamous relationship with total intimacy with your main female or your main mate that you're involved with, right? Yep. Once you begin to do that, guess what? There's gonna be some type of intimidation or some type of feeling or response to the interaction with the third party that shows up, because now it's going to create a problem where one is going to feel less than the other. So you're going to always be dealing with feelings and emotions when it comes to that.
This is why it's important to vet.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
This is why it's important to not jump into a situation, especially with the women nowadays. From age 50 and under, you really have to watch it. Age 30 and under, you really have to watch it. Like, you really have to vet. So again, even with my lady, she wasn't raised to be, she's been raised to be a monogamous as well. But at the same time, she understands, because I do my best. Women that's gonna be watching this, they're gonna be saying whatever to what they have to say. I do my best to let to let my woman know, educate her who I'm about. Because this ain't the first time I've been like this. I've been like this for like 10 years. Because I know for a fact that I can't just have one woman. But at the same time, I can't, not one woman is going to be just in my damn life.
Okay, so I want to talk about Mr. Church real quick. That was my issue. And let me say this real quick. I'm going to say hello, Black Gypsy 205. I'm going to say it like that. And I'm going to tell y'all, go follow him because he's funny as fuck. He's on YouTube and TikTok, and he's Black Gypsy 205 across the board. He's dope as shit. Anyway, I just want to say that too. But everybody who just showed up, please like the show, subscribe, share the shit out of the show. I know I said that way too much tonight, but so what? So let me talk about Mr. Church. Yes, subscribe, like, share the shit out of the show. Where's your guy that says that's like, okay. So there, hit that like. That's Jim Savage, by the way, for the y'all who don't know, my producer. So here's the deal. His first hit, because this is the situation. This is what I think. I think people are in such broken relationships, and they are involved with jealous women. They are involved with insecure women, and they're involved with broken women, and they themselves are have some of that in them, or they wouldn't be involved with them. So let me put that out there as well too, right? And so the men that are involved with these women then are accustomed to a certain type of behavior from these women, because most insecure women and most broken women and most women that have had some type of trauma or pain in their life that they have not healed, there's a lot of behaviors that are very similar. Jealousy is one of them, right? He said that eventually, the main woman, when you bring another woman into the relationship, that there's going to be conflict and confusion. Neither one of them, of the two men on the bottom, have any really true insight, because the reality is there are beautiful, healthy, whole poly relationships all over the United States. Not only are they all over the United States, they're also in everybody's face. I follow a guy. Actually, I didn't even realize, to be honest with you, because I had a couple, interactions with him, very brief or whatever, but I didn't realize the capacity to who he was at the time. And maybe I've been following him for way longer than who he actually is, but he's in a full-blown poly relationship. They're very public. My understanding from just what I watch and know about him and their relationship is that it is just the three of them. I think that they're in a closed poly relationship. And I don't know his name right now, so I can't, say that. But that doesn't happen between healed women who are openly going in and making a decision to be in a poly relationship. And the same with men. Men that are, if that's their mindset and that's the lifestyle that they're choosing, they don't go into a relationship, in a poly relationship with jealousy, and envy and brokenness and that sort of thing. They are aware going in what that relationship, what that triangle or square or whatever it is that y'all are doing looks like. It is, there's an agreement. I mean, you don't just get into a relationship with people and then start talking to them about, oh, by the way, I got a girlfriend and we want you to be with us. And that's not how it works. What he was talking about, you know, basically interviewing and having conversations. You go into the relationship like this. So there is not, I don't have all that shit that they're talking right there. Let's just take the poly out. All right. Oh, look at that. Yes. Follow him. Thanks, Jay. Oh, let's just talk about me and my relationships that I have or have had in the past, and even the ones that I currently have that are non-monogamous relationships. I would love for any of the men that I was involved with long enough that we, you know, had sustained a non-monogamous relationship to be up here and talk about how fucking peaceful our relationship is, how there's no arguments, there's no jealousy, there's no envy. I'm not, and they're not. I'm not talking or asking them shit about the other women. They're not talking or asking me shit about the men that I'm with. We share what we choose to share, if we choose to share anything. Otherwise, we are just firmly embedded in the fact that we are in a non-monogamous relationship. All that he was saying about, oh, somebody's going to feel less than somebody. No, we don't. Because a lot of us that are able to be mature enough and honest enough and open enough to be in these relationships are fully aware of what we're getting into. You act like we're being blindfolded and forced to be in a relationship where there's more than one person involved. And that is not the damn case. And every time it was brought up, that because the other guys started talking about, oh, I think he kind of said the same thing too. And I know I should know his name, so my fucking bad. But he kind of brought the same thing up too. Oh, you know, my wife and she, and honestly, both of them, and again, no disrespect to them, because everybody has the relationship that is meant for them or that they have chosen. And no matter what it looks like to anybody else, that is their relationship. And I'm not taking away from that. But both of them clearly stated that they bow to their wives, that their wives are thanks, Silky, that their wives are pretty much dominant, that they believe in the happy wife, happy life scenario, which is nonsense to me. But that's them, and it works for them. Both of them have been married for a very long time. They seem happy. It works for them. More power to them, right? But both of them, they referred the poly back to the Bible. Both of them had this conversation about insecurities and jealousy and that sort of thing. There is so much more involved than all of those things, you know? Okay, so let me go back to the original story. So a friend of mine, and the first way she approaches me is that she's a swinger, right? Now, mind you, she's single. So I didn't know how, I was like, okay. And she invited me to this party. I did not go to the party, but I was really close to going. I almost went, but I didn't go. And then I was invited to another party and I almost went, but I didn't go. And then there was a third party, a Halloween party. And I mean, I was dressed and ready, and I was actually supposed to go with someone. And I don't know, I just, you know, it was supposed to be kind of a research, just wanted to experience. I really didn't want to do anything. I didn't even know if I wanted to watch. Everybody on here knows it's not a secret. I've never even seen a porno. So I don't even know how it would feel being around a bunch of people fucking. I mean, I've been around my friends and being like in the same room, kind of stuff like that. Long time ago. So I don't really feel any kind of way about it, but like strangers and watching, I don't know, but I still wanted to have the experience. Like, I'm 52. I don't want to be 75 going to one. You know what I mean? So I really wanted to go, but at the last minute, my friend, who I had a non-monogamous relationship with for over a year, peaceful relationship. What's up, Gilly? He called me at the last minute and said, hey, would you watch me fuck somebody? And I said, sure, if that's really what you want to do. And he kind of freaked out. He was like, are you watched me fuck somebody? And I was like, yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do, like, I'm not gonna do it. I mean, I'm not gonna do anything with either one of you. Like, if you're fucking her, I'm not gonna be involved. You know, and he was like, okay, that's cool, but you'll watch. And I was like, yeah, I'll watch. Like, no problem. If that's what you want. He was like, that's so dope. Okay, cool. Right. Now me and him have really never even had a conversation about anything like that. Me and him, we were in a non-monogamous relationship, but we didn't have any conversation about anything farther than that. So we get off the phone. Not even 10 minutes later, he calls me back and he goes, okay, look, that's not going to work, because if I'm fucking her, I'm going to want to touch you. Like, that's just the bottom line. I'm just not going to be able to keep my hands off you. And I was like, okay, but I don't want to be involved in it. Like, that the most I'll do is watch, and that's going to be it. You know what I mean? So then it was like a whole thing. And so I was like, fuck it. I used it to just not go. Basically, I used it as an excuse to not go. So I never, ever went. However, I was also pulled into some of the groups, right? And like on Facebook and stuff like that. And so I had the experience of being in these groups and people talking back and forth and videos and this and that and the other and blase and so on and so forth. And I realized it took me a couple weeks, because I didn't pull it up a lot, because the chat was just full of their own videos and their own shit, and everywhere it was pretty much like a porn chat, basically. They would post videos of themselves, you know, fucking and all kinds of shit, which is cool. I mean, that's their thing. I'm not mad, but I'm saying. So it took me a little while to gather it. This had nothing to do with swinging. A lot of the people, I'm talking like maybe 50% of the people in that group were single. Swingers, again, are husband and wife who swap other husbands and wives, or possibly bring in a third party. But these were fuck fests, basically. Absolute fuck fest. These had nothing to do with poly relationships. A lot of people in there were claiming poly relationships. A lot of people in there were claiming swinging relationships. But at the end of the day, everybody was fucking everybody at these parties. I mean, everybody was literally fucking everybody at these parties. There was no like the top guy. I don't know anybody's name. I'm terrible. That was talking about him and his fiance are in a poly relationship, looking for a third person to be in the a second woman to be in the relationship with them. And he was saying there needs to be some type of order. And the gentleman down here, where there, that way, he brought up the fact, what type of relationship do you need order in? I don't know. Every relationship. Like, who the fuck wants to be in a relationship that's just out of order? Like, it's just chaos and confusion all the time. And there's no, you know, it's not about rules. It's literally about order. But both of them on the bottom would be the first men in that group of four to be hollering about obedience of a woman per the Bible. Jay, am I wrong? Am I wrong to say that they would say that? Because I don't think I am. Hit the like button, everybody, especially if you just showed up. Gilly, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Silky, I know you already did. Black Gypsy, hit the like button, baby. Who else is on here? K Boogie, I know K Boogie. I know my boo thing already hit the like button on her. She my boo thing. I know she hit the like button. So, and whoever's listening that's not in chat, you know, again, just keep hitting the like button. Just keep hitting the like button. So, but. And for those of you who just came on, I'm piggybacking off Jay's show that he just had a clip from the show, talking about, you know, the about poly relationships. And it was so interesting because Jay and the other guy were pro poly, and the two bottom guys were monogamy. And I didn't feel like, and I could be wrong, right? But I didn't feel like Jay. Or now I know that Jay thinks that all men are naturally non-monogamous creatures. If I'm wrong, I digress. But I'm pretty sure that Jay feels like the majority of men. This is what I think. I think that we probably all have a little non-monogamy in us. But I think that based on generationally and, you know, all kinds of factors, additional factors, religions, lifestyles, that we have now individually, we determine who we really are, like at our core values. You know what I mean? I've definitely choose non-monogamous relationships currently, because I don't feel like I should be in a relationship with someone unless it's going to fucking last forever. Like, it needs to be my last relationship for me to be committed to that person wholeheartedly. Me too. I'm watching that all day. Crisscross applesauce, popcorn, iced tea. I'm definitely watching. Oh, so oh, you're talking about the watching. Okay, first of all, Gilly, we already know you're watching. Okay. So, by the way, Gilly's the friend I was talking about in the room. long time ago, like in our 20s, that was a very long time ago. So, but again, you know, both of the bottom guys were just killing everything about a poly relationship. Gilly is a freak. Everything about the relationship, they were just like, no, because this and the jealousy and the envy, and it's all sexual. And the one guy kept saying, oh no, you know, my wife's bad enough. You think I want another woman? And that's why I said that I feel like both of them, without saying it, they both basically said they bow down to their wives. So obviously their wives are a little bit more, I don't want to say masculine, because I don't know them. They could be very feminine women and just, you know, very stern and aggressive. But I mean, you know, they want to make their wives happy. And I believe in that everyone should be happy. I believe that everyone should be at peace. Everyone should be joyful. Everyone, you know, everybody knows that it's not a secret, but everybody knows that I have a friend, and I'm always happy to see him. You know why? Because he's so peaceful and so calm that even when I'm up here, just his presence is enough to bring me back down to a peaceful. This is why, if you're in a chaotic environment, regardless of who you are or what you're doing, it's still chaotic no matter how many people you include or don't include in it. You could be chaotic within yourself. And both of the bottom men, I feel like, I'm not saying they're in chaotic relationships. I'm just saying they're in unbalanced relationships where the wives are definitely the dominant ones in the relationship, and they are not the dominant ones in the relationship. Whatever their wife says kind of goes, you know what I mean? And so, again, when the order part came up about being in order, the one guy went in. Who needs order in a relationship? Who even has a relationship with order? But again, they quoted the Bible repeatedly, and they would be the first to say that a wife needs to be obedient to their husband, because they're, if I'm not mistaken, again, Jay can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they're both devout Christians. And I could be wrong about that, but that's what I feel that they were. And so every aspect was brought into it except for what it really stood for. And again, I couldn't get on. It was their, you know, it was Jay's show, it was the guy thing. But oh my God, it was, Silky was there. He already said, what shit. I had so much to say. I was like, stop saying that. It has nothing to do with anything. Literally has nothing to do with the poly relationship. We have discombobulated so many things. And this is why I constantly bring up memes and narratives that are being pushed through memes, and dissect them and explain why they are now a simple meme, hee hee ha ha, becomes a narrative that becomes toxic. And this is the shit that has happened. Poly is a very specific lifestyle, and it is, and what is included in that is way more than sex. Swingers, definitely a sexual lifestyle, definitely. Non-monogamy and monogamous, those aren't even sexual or non-sexual. They're just about the sexuality. Does that make sense? It's just about what you're either, you know, then you have open relationships where, you know, you and your spouse are in a full-blown relationship, but you guys do, you know, I guess what you want. And again, there's order to that too. You know, like maybe how often, or do we know about the person? Those are the type of conversations that are had before most whole, healthy people get into these types of relationships. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was in non-monogamous relationships when I was fucking brutally broken. I mean, brutally broken. I still maintain. I had a couple of monogamous relationships. Okay, I had one monogamous relationship, but that's not the point. The second one, I was not aware that he was not monogamous, which is just fucking stupid because of who I am. All he had to do, I asked him, do you want to be in an open relationship? Like, that's cool. Oh, you gotta fuck somebody else. I said, if it comes up, yeah, I would. Oh no, we're not doing that. Okay, well, I'm not doing this. Like, you're not gonna be in an open relationship and I'm in a closed relationship, and that's what we're gonna do. That's not what we contractually agreed to. But with that being said, I was brutally broken in monogamous relationships and able to maintain them. They were still very peaceful. There wasn't a lot of problems, if any problems at all, to be honest with you. We didn't fight or fuss or carry on. There wasn't jealousy and envy. There wasn't any of those things. Which is, why I tell people all the time, I can't tell you, and I'm just gonna fucking be honest on that. I'm just gonna be brutally fucking honest right now and tell you, there's so many fucking married men, and some of them don't even have bad relationships with their wife. They just don't want to be monogamous. And they have literally, I've had the conversation with them that I'm not involved with them, but I've had the conversation with them that I understand that based on the narratives, their religion, their upbringing, their environment, that they understood they were supposed to, go to school, go to college, get married, have 2.5 kids, a white picket fence, buy a house, retire, and live off your 401k kind of mindset, right? And that you should be with a woman and that you should get married in church and, and that's just that. And so because, 20, 30 years ago, getting into those types of relationship was standard across the board, standard relationship. You didn't have all of this access to know what people were really doing in their lives. Everybody just thought that's the way you're supposed to live. That's what's being pushed. That's the narrative that exists. And that's the narrative they got into. Now, 20 years in, kids, grandkids, they feel obligated to their wives. They feel obligated to their families. I mean, I literally talked to a man who said, I don't know how long he's been married, maybe 13 years. And we're friends. We go to lunch occasionally. Nothing going on between us, but I'm just saying. And he literally has said to me, like, I don't want to give up my family. I don't want to. Some of the kids and grandkids are like step, and they're not necessarily biologically belong to him. And he thinks if he walks away from this woman, that he loses the relationship with the grandkids and her children as well, right? He knows he keeps his kids, but he feels like that relationship would be severed, and he's not willing to let that go. So because of that, he stays with her. Now, anybody could be lying to me by any means, right? But if you've met me and you know me and you've had conversations with me, I'm pretty authentic, and that and it's pretty easy to tell that you can pretty much tell me the truth, and I'm not going to pass any judgment. Even if you tell me I love my fucking wife, I just think you're hot and want to fuck you, I'm cool with that. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying I'm not going to judge you for it. Or, you can tell me that you have the most horrible relationship, and, there's another married guy, and he talks about how his wife is just, she's cheated on him before, and, she talks to him any kind of way, and, she doesn't perform sexually like, he would like her to. It doesn't do certain things for him that he would like her to. And I mean, honestly, you can look at pictures of them and see their body language, and know that something is just not okay. You know what I mean? And let me be honest about this too. They're fucking two beautiful ass people. Like, she's a Barbie doll, and he's a Ken, and kind of ideal. You know what I mean? She's drop dead gorgeous. Definitely has had some surgery, I'm sure. He's fucking gorgeous. Perfect in every way, beautiful house, beautiful kids, beautiful home, lots of money. He has a beautiful life. If looking outside, looking in. Subscribe, like, and share the shit out of the show. By the way, I saw Jay pop that up there and I missed it. Subscribe, like, and share, everybody. Like. And share, and go to the page and actually subscribe. Hit subscribe. So, but it's easy. I know that anybody can tell me anything, but the people that I associate with and that I have conversations with, I think are pretty aware that they can actually tell me the truth, and it wouldn't bother me, because they know one way or the other that I'm either going to be involved with them or I'm not. And I make that very clear. Like, I will tell someone straight up, I'm not going to be involved with you. for this reason, ABC, or I have no problem being involved with you, but this is how it's going to be. You know, and it was such a great show, and I didn't even get to stay the whole time, I don't think. And I wanted to, because it was such a great show. There was so much good conversation on there that it was just insane. But again, the two bottom guys would I'm talking literally everything they said about these poly relationships were completely, biased. Oh, Jay, put the link to come talk. I haven't even invited anybody. Can come talk on the show, by the way. Put the link in, please. Oh, please, baby. Put the link in the thing, in the chat. If anybody can come on and have a conversation about these types of relationships, or their experiences, or not, or just have a conversation with me, by the way. So just want to let you guys know that. And Jay will eventually, there it is right there. That's if you want to come on the show. So if you hit that link, you're going to show up. So just be aware. I am a Bertha. Okay, let's go to, everybody always says chat lives matter. So let me run through the chat, because I know everybody's been typing and I have been ignoring, not on purpose. Okay, I don't even know how far back. Yeah, me too. I'm watching that all day. Oh yeah, we had that conversation. Okay, Gilly, smash alert. Gilly's a freak. Silky, we know. Roomy, shared and shit. First of all, Gilly, bye. Gilly's a dork. You said that, Lego hands. Stupid. Religion aside, everything you do in life must have order. I mean, this is true. Obedient to the right man, the right alpha, a real man. So you're saying the type of relationship does not dictate the level of sexual deviance. Okay, let me think about that. So I'm saying the type of relationship does not dictate the level of sexual deviance. No, I think individually you dictate the level of sexual deviance or otherwise. Like, I think the relationship, is that what you're saying? Like, no matter the no, I don't, I don't think the relationships, I think the majority of the relationships that are in these lifestyles are not actually about sex. They're about something more than that. They're about, especially being in a non-monogamous relationship, that's about freedom for me. That's about peace for me. That's about happiness and joy for me.
That's about variety.
That's a what?
That's about variety.
Who, for me? I mean,
because you are, what was the word that you are? Interested in bitches' brains?
I am interested in bitches' brains. That is fucking
that means you really don't have like a physical type. It's like whoever sparks your genius.
I mean, yes. And who's, it always, I mean, honestly, I can honestly say that the men who tried or attempted to become monogamous with me, there was always conflict and confusion.
Because they were conflicted and confused, bitch.
Well, because at the end of the day, honestly,
well, no, you also have this knack of like, being in the moment, but also very quickly figuring out and being able to identify wrongdoings, bad behavior. You're very good at that. So while you may get interested in their brains, some of them fall off because they are straight incapable of being a human.
True.
Yeah.
And they're incapable of a peaceful environment.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed the earlier show because this one was
Yeah, no, this is going off. I mean, I don't think you got on before the video. Jay posted some of the video of the other show, and it was literally divided right down the middle. And Jay and the other guy were really trying their damnedest to try to explain that everything that the two bottom guys talked about in the show were really about brokenness and jealousy and envy. They just could not wrap their mind around the fact that being in a relationship with multiple people can actually be a peaceful, because at the end of the day,
they've had compound bad experiences. Each experience has probably been left a bad taste in their mouth.
The problem was they just had it with one woman, or prior to them being with one woman, they engaged contractually in a monogamous relationship, but fucked around. And so there was chaos and confusion.
That contractual one that we all kind of just enter into.
And I think one of them, Yeah, Jay, maybe you can find it, and maybe
Well,
it's
the good thing about the videos is that I can end this and immediately, well, not immediately, when it's posted, go watch it. That's the best thing about the
yes,
videos and everything. You can always go to his channel and watch all of your videos, watch all of his other shows, watch the sports show,
yes,
all that good
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can absolutely do that, and that's why you should subscribe, because then you get a play-by-play every time one of the shows comes
Hit
on.
the bell. You'll get notifications every time a show comes up.
Exactly. So, but on the show, that he, and I couldn't wait. Honestly, I couldn't wait for tonight, because I already knew that I was gonna use his show to play off of on this show, because I'm kind of sick of it too. Like, even in this group, when I was following them and I realized what a fuck fest it was, and I was like, why don't y'all just say what it is? Like, for real. How about y'all just say? So I have another friend. I actually had a conversation with her tonight, and she goes to these group events in different cities and stuff. And initially, when she went, she thought it was like I don't know what
Networking,
BBW,
big beautiful women.
kind of get together.
Ooh, that's a
and
lot
like
of sausages in one room.
and like men who loved big beautiful women. But she said immediately she knew, like the first day she realized it was kind of like a swinger thing, a lifestyle thing. But then she went to another one and really was like, yeah, this is what it is, and this is definitely the situation. And she goes to them, and actually I was having a conversation with her tonight, because I knew the show was going to be about that. And I said, do you think that the people that are there are they swingers? Are they, like, what is your, what are they saying? What is their idea? And she was like, no, it's a fuck fest. Like, it doesn't even matter what they are, who they are, what they're doing, what the relationships that they're in aren't really talked about, I guess, unless you're in that circle. I know one of her acquaintances there has two or three girlfriends, and then him and one of the girlfriends is at this particular event. And
I feel like this is just ruining.
Everybody's. But
I mean, I get it. Do your thing, but I feel like it's ruining them.
Yeah, but it's
ruining their foresight. It's ruining their attitudes. It's ruining their relationships. It's ruining what they could expect out of the next one. Don't you think?
What, going to these events?
Yeah, being so like
hell no, absolutely not. Apparently,
I mean, do your thing, but I think you're being ruined mentally going forward.
I don't know. I mean, if that's the lifestyle you choose, she said the last one that she went to.
I don't know. You don't know what you don't know till you know it.
Yeah,
and I didn't know shit at 20 that I know at 40.
She said the last one that she went through. Oh, look, follow Black Gypsy 205. That's so sweet, Jay. Thank you. Follow him. Yes, follow him. He's funny. And go watch the banana video and the girl on the bed video. Those are fucking funny as hell. Anyway, I don't know if it ruins them, because they all seem to be very open, very happy. Again, there's not jealousy, and there may be some, but I think that's for people who are like kind of new to the game or whatever. But a fuck fest is a fuck fest. It's just that. Like, a lot of these parties that I was being invited to as swinger parties were really just fuck fests. What's up, Shauna? There's all different types of people there. See, she's calling it lifestyle parties. So she's calling it lifestyle parties. And I agree that there are all kinds of people there. But I also agree, and I know not agree, but I know that this is across the board, and I get that. Don't get me wrong. But just because we're speaking of these lifestyles, the same people that were in. So she invited me recently a couple months ago to another group called, I don't know what it was called. It was Sneaky something. I don't know if it was, I'm not saying it was Sneaky Link or not saying it was. I don't know. I'm just saying it was Sneaky something, Alabama or whatever. And half the fucking people in the group that were claiming to be swingers were in the Sneaky Link group. And it's like, listen, here's the thing. The whole idea of
sexual deviance. You're deviant across the damn board. I think
open relationships.
You fuck anything,
right? Is about openness and honesty and commitment to the cause, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody wants to be in a monogamous relationship, and the people who don't want to be shouldn't have to be forced to because society says so. But not only that, the least that can happen is that people can either shut the fuck up about it or educate themselves about it. Like, stop making it all these horrible things.
Well, you tried to educate yourself about it, and you found out some of these bitches are straight deviants. Like, what the fuck? You have no respect for the game or the craft.
But so are some. There's sexual deviants under every category across the board. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that a sexual deviant.
I guess I'm referring to the ones that you also saw on the other site, where it takes away from the art of the swing. Is what you meant.
I
like
mean,
it takes away from the art.
I think that it takes away from the actual lifestyle and the people that are truly in it for the lifestyle because they chose that lifestyle based on the context of that lifestyle. And then
upside down pineapple game.
What's that mean?
I swear to God, I just found that out, that upside down pineapple, like if you see one out, like a flag or some sort of insignia, that it means they're swingers. And I thought it was a straight up pineapple, so I refused to get this one flag, but they said it's specifically an upside down pineapple. I'm like, well, that might hurt.
I mean, I think either way the pineapple would hurt, but I feel like I saw something about that recently. Actually, I did feel like I saw like there was pineapples on doors somewhere or something. Yeah. I don't know why I saw that or where I
don't know why you would advertise that at your house. Do you have kids that sleep there? I mean, come on, think of safety. Your house is your haven.
Well,
people have lost their freaking minds.
I think because some people, you know, so let me tell you what else I found out about lifestyle people. Now listen, you know what? I'm just going to say it. And I'm just being as honest as I could possibly be. There is nothing about some of these lifestyle parties that has anything to do with looks.
Wait a minute, I take offense to that because you said I would clean up there. That's bullshit.
It doesn't matter what them motherfuckers look like. It don't matter what they shape like. It don't matter what they cootie cat. Y'all, I gotta tell you the funniest story ever. Okay?
Like they have to. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta tell you the funniest story ever. Okay, so when I was in this group and I was in this chat, right? So every day was something different, like show me your this and show, Titty Tuesday, for instance, right? And, crush, whatever. It doesn't matter. Every day was, something different. They didn't do it every day, but I'm saying when they did do it,
the pandemic has screwed us.
Right. And it didn't have anything to do with the day. They just would pick random shit or whatever. And again, I would go on there. I would, they kick you out of these groups if you don't interact and have conversations or whatever. So I tried to at least, occasionally have a conversation with people, right?
It was literally your reality TV. It's so funny.
Yeah. And it's the most closest thing to porn I've seen in my whole life. So, so one day I go on, you know what? I don't know if I can tell this whole story without saying something about me, but I'm going to attempt. So one day I go on and I don't know what the title of the day was. But everybody had just a picture of their coochie.
It was probably panties Thursday because you got cute panties.
There was no panties.
Ooh, damn.
It was some kind of pussy day. And so there was a multitude of women.
Was it Share Your Friend's Pussy Pick Day?
No, it was not. Share your friend. No, it was not. And no, it was not. And so dumbass me just happened to pick that day to go into the chat room. Now let me explain something to y'all again. Let me be very clear about this. Again, I've never seen a porno. All right. I've never even watched more than like 30 seconds. And anytime I had ever seen like the 30 seconds of it, it was literally people actually fucking, right? It wasn't nobody eating nobody. It wasn't up close and personal. It was like, every time I'd ever seen something and then I'd be like, oh, so stupid. To me, it was just so awkward and weird and unnatural. I didn't like it. And so I never watched it any further, but I never was up close and personal. I've seen all of my friends naked. I'm not a nudist, but I have no problem being naked in front of people.
Met you, went to your place, and from the day I met you, you were naked. The day I met you, you were naked.
I have no problem being naked. So
I've never seen somebody that short shaped like that.
I'm soft all over.
God, for real, y'all.
I love to be naked. I don't mind being naked. I'm not embarrassed to be naked in front of people, men or women. It doesn't matter to me. But as many women, friends, and that I've seen naked, I've never been up in their vajayjay. Okay, they've never laid on the bed and spread their legs, and I've looked at their vajayjay to compare what their vajayjay looks like compared to mine. Right? I've never had that. I have literally, honestly, only seen what mine looks like. Right?
Here's the funny part. Like, I thought you were going for, I don't compare them because I don't even know what mine looks like. Because I don't think I know what mine looks like.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I've seen you naked, but I don't know what your inside or up under your shit looks like. I just know what you look like naked, standing straight.
So why do I know what yours looks like? Want to tell the story? So
no, do not tell that story again. Do not tell the damn story again. Absolutely not. So I'm on the chat. I pull up the chat, and it is like a pussy fest on there. Okay, within like as small as the frame can be on my phone, or as big as it can be, there's like pussy, 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 pussy. And at first, it takes me a second. No, Silky, she's not telling the story. Again,
it's not even one of the worst ones.
And you probably already know the story. You've probably been on the show and heard the story, because Gilly thinks this is the greatest story in the world.
There's 100 stories. Which one you want?
No. And so there's just like pussy after pussy after pussy after pussy. And I'm just being honest as I can be. Okay. Because I don't and haven't seen.
I like how Silky come back when you start saying pussy.
Well, because I don't say vajayjay, and it was just awkward for me to say it. So I'm just being who I am. You know, you want her to tell the story. No, she's not telling the story. I'm not attracted to women. I had this conversation again with someone else today, and it's like,
absolutely not. It has nothing to do with that.
Right. And the men that come at me so hard all the time, I just tell them, do you want to suck a dick? No, I don't want to eat coochie. It's really simple. It's not complicated. So, but anyway, so I'm looking at all these. So now I have to investigate for them, if you want to call it that, right? So I'm like backing down, and I'm starting at like the first pussy, right? And I'm looking at it. I want to see, because now I know what another woman's pussy looks like compared to mine, right? Now. And so I'm the first one, I'm like, yeah. Second one,
this story's worse than the other one.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, wow. You know, like every single cootie cat on there. To me, I could be wrong. I'm not a dude. I don't know what y'all like and what coochie should look like.
You want to say shit looked ugly as hell. Were there any furry ones?
There was some furry ones. There was some some warped ones. There was some
warped. That's 52 and up.
There was some there was some bumpy ones. There was some weird ones. I'd never seen anything like it. But I will tell you this, and this is all I'm going to say about this part of it. This is the closest I can get without saying anything. Based on what I know about the only pussy I know about, none of them were attractive.
And yours is, as we both know.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I didn't say that.
Yours is highly attractive. Like perfectly pictured attractive. So much so, somebody asked me one time to send me a picture of mine, and mine is furry, and I didn't have time to get it right.
Really?
So I called my best friend and I said, I need
Who's your best friend?
Yours. I called my best friends and I said, I need a picture of yours to pass off as mine. And I've probably been doing it for the last 5 years. So my best friend says, you want it closed or open? I said both. So that's how I know how the inside of my best friend's snatch looks. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. There you go, Silky.
There's your story, Silky. There's your story. So, I say all that to say, I mean, to each his own. I mean, obviously, them women are getting their little ugly cootie cats tore out the damn frame on the regular at these parties. Apparently, the men nor the women either they don't care about the.
See, I just want to watch, so I gotta find one of these
the way
parties. I
that
gotta
they
see
look.
that shit. I have to see this.
That they look this way.
You know? Oh yeah, I might want to see that. I don't know. No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see ugly buckets. I don't want to see big broads. I don't want to see grandmas. Yeah, I gotta be selective. I gotta watch my mouth.
I mean, it's true, and I think that what I think is, again, going back to the authenticity of it all. Just be whoever the fuck you are. Be authentic to the people that you meet. I had this conversation today too. Whether you lie about who you are or whether you tell the truth about who you are, there's going to be an equal number of people who like you and an equal number of people who dislike you.
So might as well just be yourself.
So you might as well just fucking be authentic and be yourself. And the same amount of people that don't like you are going to be the same amount of people that do.
Do you know how hard it is to keep up your unauthentic self, having to remember all the lies and bullshit?
Obviously,
and personas you had to be around each person. It's exhausting.
I mean, you know, some people do it very well. Other people don't do it at all. Other people do it for only a small amount of time.
Well, that gives me hope for me because I did it not very well. So I'm not a sicko. I'm not a psycho. I'm not a sociopath. You know,
I was aware just afraid to show myself. You're also aware and also holding yourself accountable for the behavior and healing in the process. So that's a whole, you know, that's a whole show.
That's a whole other show.
That's a whole show, really. But, you know, at the end of the day, I almost spilled my damn drink. At the end of the day, I just wanted to have a conversation about poly, monogamous, non-monogamous, swingers. And, you know, I wanted to be very clear that most poly people are not in it for the religion. Now, I will say this. I feel like, you know, the people that claim that it is religious, I don't think they consider themselves Christians, but I could be wrong. I could be very wrong about that. I know that there is a whole movement, but I'm just being honest based on my observation and what I saw and what I see. The biblical or religious poly people
better not see a witness there.
Are white. I have only interacted and had conversations with Black men and women about poly.
Really?
And their idea about it has absolutely nothing to do with religion, has everything to do with spirituality, has everything to do with freedom and building and growth and people.
I just feel like that one person's getting over, like that Sister Wives dude. You got like 8 women. You're getting over.
I mean,
you're manipulative. I can't look at it any other way. Is it because I'm trained to look at it that way?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's plenty. Keep in mind. So that's, I don't know that I ever watched any of the shows. I never saw more than like a snippet on TV or whatever, like an advertisement when I did watch TV of that. I never watched a whole show from beginning to end. I'm just going to be honest. I saw snippets, and I personally, I wasn't, I mean, there was nothing about that would have ever led me to be in a poly relationship. Nothing about that. That shit was absolutely, when he talks about, God bless you, when they talk, did y'all hear my dog sneeze? When they talk about, that wouldn't make me consider poly. That show would not make me consider poly. I thought that he was somewhat manipulative, but their shit was so structured. But again, theirs was based on religion. Theirs was a religious decision. And from what I understood, and, you know, I think each one of them had their own, like, there was like schedules and times and all that. And I could be wrong. I wish that other guy from the show would come on. Jay, maybe we can invite him and have a part 2, because he's in his relationship with the fiance or whatever. But I don't think, from my experience, again, in my talks with the people that wasn't ever, there was no like, oh, we're going to have a schedule and this is the way that it's going to be. And you're going to have one house, but then these 2 are going to live in the house together. But then these 4 are going to do this.
Fuck that.
That seems like, that to me seems like he's running a business. Now, apparently, you tell me, you might have saw the show. Did any of the women work, or was he the only one that worked?
I didn't see the show.
Oh.
I just read about it in the newspapers.
My idea was that a lot of the white polygamists, and I'm just gonna be that's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm calling a lot of the white religious polygamists. It seemed like the men had all the financial control in the relationship.
Power, weak women. It just all came off that way.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it did.
Me too.
I don't get that same vibe in the Black community
because we don't like our fucking people.
Because we don't. I don't not like our fucking people. I just, don't like the mindset of some of them. But I don't. It doesn't come. That's not what I got. That's not what when I did my research, when I had the talks, when I was involved with people that were poly and seeking other people who wanted to be in a poly relationship. That is not what. That's not the vibe I got at all. It was more spiritual. It was more. I'm not saying it wasn't financial, but it was more about the family unit and the structure. And keep in mind too, you guys, a lot of the poly relationships with men and 2 women, the women are bisexual and they like the women too. I don't think those sister wives show. I don't think any of the women were intimate with each other. They literally were committed to this one man. And not all. I'm not saying that there aren't poly relationships because again, you define the poly relationship. But let's be clear about one thing: it's a fucking relationship, people. It is not. I'm out here fucking everybody and I can fuck whoever because I'm poly. I can't tell you how many single men came to me. I'm poly. I'm like, oh, you have a girlfriend or a wife? No. I'm like, how the fuck are you poly? Like, if you're striving to be in a polygamous relationship, okay, well then state that, but you're not poly and single. That's not how that works. You might be non-monogamous and single. Again, there's so many different definitions and whatever, but you can be in a relationship and be in an open relationship, but you're not poly to me. And if I'm wrong, I digress. But poly to me,
are you going to ever regret that you never did that?
That I never did what?
A poly relationship.
Wait a minute, Molly. I'm getting my toys.
No, I don't think so. I don't think I'll ever regret that. I mean, I had the 2 brothers back in the day, and it was a sexual thing. It wasn't a poly thing. And, I was involved with, I'm not going to blast his name, but, I was involved with him for a few months, and we considered, another man and all that. I mean, we definitely, it was definitely very close to me being in it, but and it was always just an option. It wasn't like I had to have, multiple men and, all of that stuff. It was just an option for me because, I mean, Gilly, what I went through and what I still go through, preparing myself and healing for the person that I'm intended to be with. It's been a very challenging journey for me. I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset about it. You know what, Silky? Something's wrong with you. But I didn't. I don't think I'll have any. I don't think I have any regrets. And it's always still open. I feel like this. I feel like if I got with somebody, and I was in a, we ended up, being together, and say 2 or 3 years down the road, he approached me and said, hey, I know how you are, and blah 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 blah. I know what how you feel about certain things, and if you wanted to look for a man in our relationship, for you, I'd be open to that. I'd definitely consider it. I mean, I'm always about the man leading anyway. I definitely not a woman. I mean, and that's just the bottom line. I wouldn't.
I'm not. I don't disagree. I'm not opposed to a man leading either, but it has to be a real man.
Well, yeah, and that's
some bitch out here pretending.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going to claim something, at least know what the fuck you're claiming.
Well, yeah, right? Then you go for years and you don't realize he's a punk ass fucking pilgrim.
And you're just a whore. I mean, some people are they're just whoring around. And, if that's the case, then just be fucking single or find you a woman who'll be in an open relationship with you. There's plenty of fucking women out here.
Plenty. Go, goodbye.
For an open relationship. I think monogamy and monogamous are, I don't, of course
they're not for everybody.
Right. There's so many other different things that you can be. But again, it boils down to just fucking be honest about who you are. Stop saying, oh, I want a monogamous relationship with a monogamous woman and your ass is non-monogamous. Stop doing that. Just
I
fucking
like how
stop.
you say monogamous.
There's,
Bitch a hoe. Yeah,
there's plenty of women nowadays that want to be in a non-monogamous relationship. Even women my age that want to be in a non-monogamous relationship. So there's no reason anymore to fucking lie, is my point. Just state the obvious, what it is that you want.
I just want to be in a relationship with
person,
myself.
never mind multiple. Yeah. And see, Shauna, I had the opposite idea, that I had trouble finding one person that could fill all my needs. Like, it's very hard for me to be around somebody who stimulates every part of me. Somebody
Maybe if all 5 dudes were related, like brothers, and each one did something different for me, but they got along cool because they all related. Like keeping in the fucking family. I've been there. I think that'd be cool.
I bet you
because there'd be no animosity between each other. And...
Yeah, but when you did that, nobody knew about the other brother. That was okay. None of the brothers knew about the other brothers. Okay, well, I mean, the 2 brothers knew about the other brother, but the other 2 didn't know about the other one. So, yeah, baby, there was no truth in that relationship. That was just.
But I'm just saying that could work. There's no ego there. They're like related. They love each other more than they love me.
But not if they're monogamous creatures, and that's my point. You know what I'm saying? But
that's a whole lot of penicillin.
Right. And to what Shauna was saying, mine was the opposite. Like, it's very hard for me to find someone who stimulates me mentally. I have a very deep side. I can get really deep. I'm funny as fuck. Actually, I'm hilarious. And, so I would run across men and I would just I had this conversation with my friend recently. And I said, I would run across men and I would be, I would be funny with them, but I'd be just funny with them all the time. I never got deep with them or whatever. We would just talk and it would always be a laugh, or I would have men like MLS, who we always have these fucking tragically deep conversations about, and he knows my mind intimately and I absolutely love him and adore him. But, we have these deep ass conversations. We've never been involved with each other, but we have these deep ass conversations, and then I'll have somebody that's just highly sexual. And every time we're on the phone with each other, we're having phone sex or video sex or something. And we don't have anything else. We're not laughing. We're not having deep conversations. You know what I mean? Then I would have these men where I would have these business conversations with, and, then I would have these other men that I had these, fucking revolutionary conversations with. And that's all we talked about was liberation and, that type of shit. And I've rarely been around a man who stimulates all of that at one time. So my thought was, I'm going to have more than one man. It's probably going to have to be, again, I don't think you were here, Sean. I said I needed a gentleman, a businessman, and a revolutionary. A mechanic,
a chef, and a pipe layer. What?
I'm just saying, so I put poly into my options. It was, again, an option for me, because I did have problem connecting with one person, but the reason I had problems connecting is because I couldn't connect fully with them. I don't know if I have ever been in a relationship with someone who stimulates everything in me until right now. Truth. That's just the truth. Like, there's nothing. We are in here's what's crazy. I'm in a non-monogamous relationship. Well, it's not a relationship, but we're non-monogamous.
It's a relationship. Friends are relationships. You and I are in a relationship.
I mean, this is true, but I don't want people to think like
it's a non-monogamous relationship, but you're monogamous. What? Because you're completely and utterly satisfied in all areas.
I am because he can get deep.
The universe is a bitch.
Yeah, she is. Really, she is. Because I can get deep with him. We laugh. Sexually, we're completely compatible. I'm satisfied, you know, and I just have, it's not that that's not that I'm trying to be monogamous with him. I just have no desire right now currently because I am satisfied in every avenue. Intellectually, he's fucking smart as shit. You know, we believe in a lot of the same things. We have a lot of the same views together. He's dope as fuck. He's super fucking hot.
I wish I had sound
adorable.
effects like Jay.
You
Put
know,
a
and
sound effect of like a cougar or a lion.
you know, I mean, I just, you know, so with that being said, and I've said this for like probably the last year or so, maybe the last 2 years, I remember when it happened. I've told this story before too. I saw something, a meme, something on some social media, and it said, "You date at the level of your insecurity." And I was like, wow, fuck, this is why I'm attracting these men. It's the insecure part of me, my insecurities where these men are coming from, right? And so once I realized that, I started really working on my insecurities and then really started focusing on attracting a higher caliber man. So every time a man would come along that would, you know, it would raise the bar for the next man. And then I started running across men all the time they weren't for me. They weren't my person, but they raised the bar for the next man in some way, shape, or form. They increased the bar. This dude, the bar is as high as it's ever been at this point. So, you know, and moving forward, whatever happens between him and I, if it ends up that, you know, am going looking for someone else, or eventually, you know, we're not involved with each other, the next motherfucker that come along got some big ass motherfucking shoes to fall into, because now that I've been here, now that I've been in a peaceful, happy, non-monogamous friendship with this man who stimulates every way that I need to be stimulated and am then satisfied in that stimulation, boy, this is going to be fucking hard for the next person, if there is one. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not mad about that at all. Like, it is important. What are you insinuating with the growls anyway? Like, what are you trying to say with the growls? I don't understand. So, I'm not a cougar, for the record. I'm not, because cougars seek out young men, and I do not seek out young men. They seek me out, for the record. And I just don't have a problem with it because I'm a sapiosexual. And I hate all of y'all right now. Seriously. Really. But so I don't think that I'm a cougar, because I don't pursue young men. I just don't have a problem with age. I don't give a shit how old you are. I mean, I'd like you to be 25. I'd like your brain to be fully developed, and you know, you still have to have the mindset. You still have to have, I'm not just chasing a young guy because he's young and he can keep up with me sexually. I mean, I don't know that I've ever been in just a relationship, even the non-monogamous sexual ones, where, you know, we always had there was always more to it than that. We always at least, you know, had conversations and dinners and lunches or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it was never just fucking. So I've never just been involved with somebody who, you know, we just meet up and fuck and leave and go home, and that's just it, you know what I mean? Or comes over for 10 minutes and fucks me and leaves or whatever. I've never been in that type of relationship that I can recall as I'm sitting here talking to you guys. And I don't need no exes showing up talking about, yes, we were, that's all we did. I don't want to hear that shit, okay? Private me, inbox me, don't. But I don't think that's the case. But with that being said, again, I just wanted to come on and follow up from Jay's show, The Crown, where all the guys were on there and talking poly and how split it was. And, you know, there's just so many lifestyles that are considered. And I think that, again, unless you're projecting hate or harm, that you should choose whatever works for you, that fits your authentic self, and you should live that lifestyle, period. And before you judge other people for the lifestyle they're living, at least have some fucking education about it. Like, stop just openly and publicly bashing a relationship or a lifestyle, and you aren't even clear on what that lifestyle or relationship looks like, or what it involves, or what it entails, or what really the foundation of that relationship is. you know, regardless of what you believe. And this is, you know, specifically, you know, I tell people all this, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I mean this from the bottom of my heart when I say this, as respectfully as I can say it, especially to the Christian people. It is none of your business what happens to me when I die. It's none of your business what happens to Joseph when he dies. It's none of your business what happens to Emily when she dies. It's none of your business. So at the end of the day, if they're not bothering you and they're not in your house hunching on your couch, you know what I mean? Save the judgment for who you claim has all the judgment, and let us do what we want to do. What's up, lady? What's up? Hey. You know, save it. You know what I mean? Save that shit for somebody else or for something else, because what we are doing and the lifestyle that we are choosing to live has absolutely nothing to do with you. Not one thing. I promise you that when and if you get to heaven, God is not going to ask you about me. He's not. I promise. He's not going to ask you about what I was doing down here, what was going on, what business, who I was fucking. He's not. Those aren't the questions he's going to ask. He's going to ask you about you. He's not going to ask you what pertains to me. So before you judge people like us, and I say me, like us, that are in relationships, non-monogamous relationships or poly relationships, or live some type of lifestyle relationship that isn't conducive to the narrative that's been pushed religiously or otherwise, make sure that you're educated on it, and make sure that, you know, you speak without judgment, because we can all have conversations. And listen, it was a dope ass conversation. I'm not taking away from anything any of the guys said. They're all dope men. Y'all know how I feel about men. I love them, and I think they're just the most amazing creatures. And they're important, and their views are important, and they can live whatever life they want to. But I promise you, I'm not sitting here passing any judgment on them. I'm not going to date either one of them, but based on their religious views, but I'm not judging them for it, right? There's a huge difference between me making a choice about who I want and in my life, as opposed to me judging them for what they do. And I feel like people like me and people that are in poly relationships and swingers and that sort of thing, there's a lot of judgment passed down on us, you know, because of a lot of, for a multitude of reasons, for miseducation being one of them. But the other one is that people are out here claiming things that they aren't, because they're uneducated about the lifestyle that they're choosing to live. And so they say, oh, I'm poly, or I'm this and I'm that. And they're really not. They're just whoring around, and they should just be single and carry on with non-monogamous relationships or friendships or whatever be the case. It really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But I had to get that off my chest, because I couldn't talk on the show. I was texting in the chat, going crazy in the chat, and I was doing something else too. I feel like I was working and cooking and chatting, and I was losing my shit. The whole show, I was losing my shit. So let's wrap it up. But before I do, everybody hit the like button, please. Like, subscribe, and share the shit out of the show. Huge shout out, huge, to Jim Savage, my producer, and SavageCon.Entertainment. Because literally, and I don't know if Jay knows this or understands this, but he leads and I follow. And he is, you know, I consider him my friend, but I still have that relationship with him. And he takes care of everything when it comes to this show for me. And that is not a lie. He has, you know, in the beginning, he was like, you need to learn. And then I never did. And then finally, he just stopped. And he literally 100% takes care of everything about commercials, shows, links, and he does an amazing job. And I am truly grateful to him. I'm grateful to him inside and outside of the show. And I appreciate it. So bowing my head to you. To all of my men, especially my Black men that are listening, I believe in you. I love you. You are worthy and needed and important. And I'm here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And Podbean's on Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central time as well, too. So thank you for showing up. I appreciate everybody in the chat, sending love and light. And we will see you next week. Bye. All right, everybody. everybody, here's the deal. I am on my way over to SavageCom.entertainment because I fell in love with Kimberly Michael and I want to follow all of her videos. By the way, she's me, I'm her. So follow me over there, SavageCom.entertainment. Look me up, In Love with Kimberly Michael, so you can follow me too. I'm a woman, so I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. Screaming that they're healed from their trauma, which is the whole point of the show is women and accountability. Accountability of women. Women and accountability. I can hold myself accountable.